Still live on Afternoon Express. You're watching SABC3, and today we're chatting money. And we do have a question from Nazarene Ibrahim. Says, hi at Afternoon Chat. Hey, my question for Peter is, how do small businesses thrive in this current economic downturn? Sure. Great question. Thank you very much.
Yeah, obviously you need to get someone to actually get to understand the company that she's referring to and the specifics of that particular company to give specific advice to that. I can only answer that question taken from a point of view as a portfolio manager. What are the things that we look at when we're looking at companies? So we look basically largely at three things. We look at profitability, we look at sustainability, we look at risk. So what are some of the things maybe that you can do? Again, answering from a very general perspective, I don't know their particular situation, is that you may have to look into your cost structure, the cost structure of the business. You may have to leverage things like technology that could reduce your cost base. You may have to look into your headcount. And maybe, you have to go to the table very strong that maybe those days of inflation plus wage adjustments are probably way behind us. Let's try to meet halfway and survive this, and we will have good times again. Then, beyond that, if you have any shareholders that you are paying dividends, for example, private shareholders of that business, you may have to renegotiate and say, maybe let's not pay out most of the cash that we've earned this year. Let's keep some and go through this difficult time.
Yeah. We have another question from Keegan Overmeyer, and he says, what can we do to better our financial system in Africa? Do you think it's better to invest in international companies, seeing that the rand is weak?
One has to be very careful with that again, because you have to balance the risk of having to take your money offshore when the rand is weaker by 50% over the past 12 months or whatever's a longer time, if I can put it that way. And however, we're also seeing that you're finding some very good quality international companies looking cheaper than some South African companies. So one can, the universe, provided you are seasoned, you understand the markets, the universe is quite wide, you can invest abroad. But again, keep in mind that the rand is really maybe towards the very weak end of the range of what it has traded on. And South Africa will bounce back at some stage. It's not going to remain like this forever.
Oh, yeah.
And Mali, what about people who have no credit, and will interest rates affect them at all?
No, it shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't, no. I mean, apart from the environment which we live in, which obviously, I mean, it might affect their partners, it might affect everyone else, because we can't just assume that people in a partnership actually share the same expense.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Is it safer to have no credit? Not necessarily.
Yes, no debt, ever.
No, but I mean, you also need a healthy credit
record to get houses and bonds and cars and things.
That is true. It could be safer, but I mean, it's also not very viable for most people.
Got you.
I mean, there is healthy debt as well.
Yeah,
I mean, a home loan is a healthy one, yes. I think you're going into unhealthy or dangerous territory when you, rack up store credit and credit cards and personal loans. Those have very high interest rates. So if you keep on making purchases on those, you might run into trouble.
Is there anyone else here that feels like emotionally eating?
Yeah, I'm gonna comfort eat.
It's so
time to comfort eat. Make sure you join us
disappointed.
again tomorrow for Afternoon Express, and tune in early, because during the first 15 minutes of the show, we're getting a visit by those cute little furballs from Expresso Morning Show, Bob and Bella, and in the kitchen we're making cinnamon buns.
Alrighty.
Oh, sweet.
Well, a big thank you to, of course, our guests, to Peter and Mia-Li. Thank you very, very much. Hopefully to all of you that are watching at home, that you learned something and how to prepare for 2016. Of course, the economy, like Peter said, everything is going to be okay. Thank you very much for watching Afternoon Express. We'll be back on SABC3 tomorrow at 4 p.m. From all of us, good evening and happy eating.
Ciao. Mwah.
How you doing, YouTube fam? Thank you so much for watching, sharing and commenting. We love hearing from you, so be sure to keep up to date with all things Afternoon Express by clicking the subscribe button right here.